Hi, everybody. Today I have something pretty special to show off. I'm going to be opening this Magic the Gathering Spectral Chaos Booster Pack. This is not a real Wizards of the Coast product. This is a fan-made project by Raging River. TheChaosOrb.com is their website. Again, these are not real Magic cards. They're made for fun. They're not for sale. He was kind enough to make these packs and send them out to some of the members of the old school community to spoil them, to spoil the cards and sort of show off what Spectral Chaos was all about, because he has a strong interest in the history of Magic. For those of you who don't know, Spectral Chaos was one of the earliest Magic sets, but it never saw the light of day. A man named Barry Reich was responsible for working on it and was one of the playtesters. I don't know exactly their full involvement, but some years back, the playtest cards were discovered, I believe, in like his garage or his storage. That was the first time people knew what Spectral Chaos was. And so the card descriptions and what their abilities are have been floating around the internet for quite a while. And Raging River decided to actually make Magic cards and show off what they might have looked like. It's pretty cool because the art that he used is all like Creative Commons or stock photos and stuff. A lot of work went into this project, and it's a really cool piece of Magic history. So we're going to open this up and see what we have. All right, so for starters, we have a basic forest. Let's get a decent look at that. Sorry, my camera is kind of washing these out a bit. And then next up we have this card called Petty's Hex. It's an enchantment or it's an aura. It's an enchant permanent. Whenever enchanted permanent becomes untapped, Petty's Hex deals 2 damage to that permanent's controller. It's a black, blue, and a colorless. And one of the cool things that is on this is some of the cards have chaos history. I don't know if I can get that to focus enough. There you go. So Dave Petty was one of the original alpha playtesters, and he helped design Ice Age and Alliances. It's a cool little bit of history. Next up, we have Worshipper of the Holy Flame. Human Cleric, green card. Until end of turn, you may spend white mana as though it were red mana, and red mana as though it were white mana. So this provides some like 3-color deck color fixing, which is something that's really missing in the early days of Magic. Yes, there are the dual lands and like City of Brass and Rainbow Veil and stuff, but compared to modern Magic, mana fixing in these old sets was really, really quite difficult. Next up, we have Pegasus Rider, which is a 3/2 flying first strike for 2 mana and 3 colorless. Pretty much on curve with what the older sets were like for mana costs. I could see this slotting into like an Urnum Geddon deck, or possibly into a blue-white Flyers build. The 2 toughness is a bit weak. Next up, we have Chaos Curse. If I'm not mistaken, there's a whole cycle of curses in this set. I might be wrong on that. This one is black, red, and colorless. It's an instant. Chaos Curse deals X damage to target player or creature, where X is the number of chaotic permanents that player or that creature's controller controls. Much like tribal instants and sorceries were introduced later on, Spectral Chaos introduced chaotic cards as like a super type. I think that's the right word. And so this is an example of one of them that actually interacts with other ones. Oh, this card is awesome. Updraft. It's an enchantment for a single blue. All creatures have flying. So this is sort of the opposite of Gravity Sphere. although Gravity Sphere is an enchant world, so it has that going for it, whereas this is just a regular old enchantment. But the ability to just pay 1 blue and have all creatures be able to block all creatures is pretty nice. And it's also good anti-moat or Island Sanctuary tech. Here we have Martyr, 3 and a black. It's a human cleric creature. You can pay 0, and the next time a source of your choice would deal damage this turn to a creature you control, that damage is dealt to Martyr instead. So all damage that would be dealt to that creature is redirected to Martyr. Other damage the source could deal is not redirected. You may activate this ability for different creatures, choosing the same source. So I guess this is sort of like, what is it, Veteran Bodyguards or Martyrs of Corliss? One of those two has a similar ability, but only for artifacts, I think. Let's see if I can get that to focus in there a bit. Nope, webcam is being annoying. There it goes. And then, this is a great one. This is Dead Orc Swordsman. It's a 0/0 for 2 red and a colorless. All red creatures get +1/+1, but it's a zombie orc knight lord. So this thing could fit into a bunch of different tribal decks and buff a lot of creatures. And next up we have Swarm. I really like this card. White-green creature insect with flying trample. So a 2-mana 1/1 with flying and trample is pretty unheard of in the old days. Especially in green-white, where you can use Crusades and Giant Growth and Berserk and Army of Allah and Jihad and all those sorts of cards that can buff creatures. So this could be a pretty brutal combat trick. It also has the multi-kicker ability, and the multi-kick makes it bigger by +1/+1 for each time it's kicked. So it can be a really good opener, or it can still be useful late game. This is really neat. Perimeterodactyl, a 7-mana artifact creature with a subtype of dinosaur. As it enters the battlefield and at the beginning of your upkeep, you may choose a number between 0 and 10. Its power is equal to the last number chosen, and its toughness is equal to 10 minus that number. So we saw this ability in, I think it's Shapeshifter. And this one has, it says it right there in the Chaos History. My camera just lost focus again. Let's see if we can get that back. There we go. Yeah, a similar design would be used for Shapeshifter released in Antiquities. Next up, we have Ronum Longbowman. Green and 4, human knight creature. It's a 0/4. Tap it to ping a creature for 1, or pay 2 white and tap it to do 2 damage to any target. The Chaos History on this, Ronum is an anagram of the name of Barry's brother, Norman. Anybody who knows Magic history knows that anagrams were used a lot, like Wailuli Wolf, and to some extent Nevinyrral's Disc, although it's not a very good anagram because it's just backwards, but it is still technically an anagram. Here we have Resurrection, 2 colorless, a green and a white, a sorcery. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. This is really cool Chaos History as well. One of several alpha cards intended to balance Spectral Chaos. This was playtested as a multicolor casting cost instead of the original white. So evidently when this was being designed, they were still messing around with playtesting other things. Whoa, this is a heck of a casting cost. 3 blue, white, green, and 2, a chaotic sorcery called Temporal Loop. Return all permanents to their owner's hands and empty all mana pools. That is pretty busted, and it prevents people from being able to do, well, I guess it prevents you from being able to do the whole, like, tap out, blink all your creatures, and then put them back into play, or tap out and Hurkyl's Recall all your stuff back to your hand, and then use all the mana to bring them back into play. Now we have a blue whale, 2 blue, 2 colorless. This has a fascinating ability for blue. It's a 1/4 with fire breathing, or water breathing, I guess. 1 blue gives it +1/+0 until end of turn. Whenever a creature blocks or is blocked by a blue whale, exile it at the end of combat until this leaves play. Well, that's fun. So I guess the fluff on this is like the whale eats the creature. A similar design would be used for Colossal Whale released in 2014. So like 20-ish years after this card would have been released, they reused the idea, or a very similar idea. And then our last card in the pack is called Purification, an enchantment, 3 white and a colorless. All non-land, non-artifact permanents are white. They stop being any other colors. This is a very strange thing, but could be handy for cards like Crusades or Jihad. Or if you have Black Knights in play, then you can slam this down and make everything white, and suddenly your Black Knights or Pump Knights have protection from basically all the creatures on the board, which is pretty neat. And so there we have it. That's our pack of Spectral Chaos. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll have a blog post up on GeoCities of Brass with more details about this stuff. I want to say thank you to Raging River for not only doing all the work to make this, but also for sending them out to the community, all on his own dime, as just for the love of the set project, and letting us have the opportunity to show off these super cool pieces of Magic history. Thanks a lot, everyone.